Hi, welcome. As promised, we will do the PERM labor certification process explanation. Okay, so EB1 does not require PERM labor certification process. This is only needed if your employer is filing for you. So EB1B potentially, um, and EB2 for sure. For EB2, out of the three types, there is one type that is national interest waiver, which is nothing but they are waiving the need for the labor certification process. Okay, so the other two, they will need labor certification. What is labor certification? And by the way, you need to know what PERM is. PERM, people think PERM is like, well, is it permanent resident? No, it's program electronic review management. Okay, that's PERM. The Department of Labor is basically having to force the employer to prove that they have advertised extensively within the country, asking for people to apply for their job posting, and nobody has been found that is a great fit, and therefore the employer is proving to the Department of Labor that, hey, I need a foreign national like Dr. Prashanth to come into the US, or if he's already in the US, I need him to work for us. And they're trying to prove that they've tried enough to get somebody from within the US, and they can't find anybody as good as Prashanth, um, and that fits the criteria for the job, that meets the requirements of the job. Okay, so that's what the perm is all about. And for that, there's a bunch of things, unfortunately, that the employer has to do. Okay, for instance, sending internal notifications within the employer's organization to announce open positions. So they have to prove that they've advertised within the hospital or within the organization across the country. They have to have two advertisements on Sunday editions in a major newspaper, placing a job order within the state workforce agency for at least 30 days. Top of these requirements, the employer must also carry out three of the following options. For example, posting the job on employer's website or job fairs, practice match, practice link, various Indeed, LinkedIn, and so on. So those are all the things. And then the prevailing wage determination also is a very important part of this process. Employers must be able to show that hiring a foreign worker will not adversely affect the wages and working conditions of similarly placed US workers. This is done by obtaining a prevailing wage determination from the state workforce agency. Prevailing wage rate is the average wage paid to the similarly employed. So these are all things that you don't need to worry. But this is the PERM process, and this takes, I think, about 8 to 12 months sometimes, but maybe sometimes lesser. So please start ahead of time, potentially within the first few months of you starting a new job on a H1 visa. If you are applying for EB2, these are things that you should talk to your employer during negotiations, saying that, hey, will you make sure you apply for my EB2 within my first 6 months, for which you have to apply for labor certification right away, and you don't need to apply for a national interest waiver, because that unfortunately commits you to 5 years in that job. So if you have here and there some publications, those are very useful. Make sure you do some good work for the society. Talk in the local newspaper or on TV, by somehow trying to talk to the marketing persons in your organization. Okay, so that's the perm process. There's more to it, but this is a brief intro. So why don't you look up further information on websites like these that share a very decent amount of information. Okay, see you guys, EB1 and NIW Guru. Please reach out to us on any of the social media platforms. Thank you, and email, please.